Hi, my name's Audrey and I'm one of the ambassadors for Sempertex Europe. And in this tutorial I'm going to show you a few little tips and tricks of how I apply vinyl to a glass balloon. So a few little things that I do when I apply vinyl is make sure that I cut my words separately. Because you're putting vinyl on a balloon, you have a spherical surface, so you need to make sure that you have as few extra bits as possible so that your vinyl can stick to your balloon a lot better. So like I've done this happy birthday, I've cut it into two pieces so it's easier to apply. I also use a very low tack transfer tape. This helps your vinyl stick to the balloon, and the transfer tape peels away a lot quicker and doesn't leave any residue. The stickier the transfer tape is, the more likely you're going to get a residue on your balloon, and we don't want that. So I've done these two pieces of vinyl and I'm going to stick it to my glass balloon. This is a 36-inch Bobo and I've got a 24-inch latex inflated inside. So I'm going to take my vinyl and I'm just going to make sure that it's going to be in the position that I want to have it on the balloon. So a lot of people try and match it up in line like this, and it's really, really hard, especially if it's on a helium balloon or helium bubble. So what I suggest is always have your lettering at an angle like that. And if you can kind of pinpoint where it looks good, stand back if you can, have a look where your letters are aligning, and you're less likely to make a mess up if you have it more at an angle than if you have it straight. There's more chance that you're not going to have an uneven, and if it is uneven, it doesn't look bad. It's meant to be like that. So I'm going to do my happy birthday at an angle like this on my big balloon, just make sure that it's kind of center, and even if not, you can always, it still looks good no matter where you put it. So that's where my happy is going to be. And what I do is I just kind of measure from the seam to where I think I would like the happy to start, like that. So just between my thumb and my pinky finger. I put the transfer tape side down on the table and I gently lift the backing so that the vinyl sticks to my transfer tape. And as I'm pulling away, you can see I'm kind of rolling it away from the transfer tape so that the letters don't pop up onto the backing. And there you go, you have your transfer. Also with the low tack, it's easier, it doesn't stick to your fingers as much as the higher tack transfer tape. So I've got my vinyl here. Be careful not to touch the actual lettering because that's the really sticky part, and your low tack, you can feel that it doesn't stick to your fingers as much. So in the middle there, that's kind of where I wanted the happy to start there, and you kind of eyeball it a little bit, and I'm going to go at an angle and I'm going to apply gently to the bubble. Now the reason I apply gently is because if it's in the wrong place, if you do it really, really quickly and have a little bit of a pull, you can lift your vinyl off. So don't stick it down automatically, because this way you can lift it up nicely. So I'm going to apply it there. I haven't stuck it down yet. If I'm happy with that positioning of my vinyl, then I trace my finger around just the vinyl and I gently apply pressure to the vinyl onto my balloon. And this way, when you're applying pressure, you can feel that there's no bubbles going in your letters, and you can move your vinyl to the curve of the balloon. You don't have to make everything flat, and if you're just doing the vinyl, if you're going in the curve, you're not creating extra bubbles, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to slowly peel my transfer tape away from my vinyl. And what I'm doing, again, like I did with removing the backing from the transfer tape, is I'm rolling it at an angle. So the letters, if they do start sticking to the transfer tape, I can just roll it against the balloon. And you can even tap it down a little bit if it's still lifting. But it should, because this is a glass balloon as well, this sticks quite nicely. So I'm rolling it at an angle, always at an angle, that way your whole letter doesn't lift up as you're taking the vinyl, as you're taking the backing off. Now you can see this vinyl sticking to the transfer tape, so I'm just going to hold it down and then roll it gently as I'm lifting away. It's slow and steady. Don't be impatient with your vinyl, because that's when you start making mistakes. And then you can just gently just tap it down, and then you have your vinyl applied. I'm going to do the next one. It's gentle pressure at an angle. Again, I'm going to show you. I'm going to take the backing off at an angle. I'm rolling it with my fingers, rolling it away. And again, when I apply it to the bubble, I'm going to just see where I want it. You can always stand back and have a look. Okay, that's where I want it. Or you think, oh, it looks a bit odd. Or then you can always, you take it from one end and just gently lift it up if it's not the right angle. Okay, so I'm going to apply it there. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to trace the outline of the letters to the bubble. I don't flatten it, because if I flattened it with the transfer tape, what happens is the vinyl can crease in the middle. So I just go over, especially the swirly ones, the ones with a bit of a swirl. So you can see I'm just applying pressure. And if I flatten that, then I could maybe lift the letters. So I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see, if there's a close-up view. I'm just going on the letters. I'm not doing all the transfer tape, because the letters are the most important. You don't want the transfer tape to be flat. You can see there's wrinkles in my transfer tape, but it doesn't matter, because that's going to be lifted off. And then again, as I'm applying, as I'm removing, I'm doing it at an angle, and I'm rolling so that the vinyl sticks to the balloon. And if it's lifting a little bit, you can always just light pressure and tap it down a bit. At an angle, always at an angle. Tap it down. Now you can see this vinyl has come away from the actual letter, and it's on my transfer tape. But it doesn't matter. If you just tap it down again and at an angle, you won't even see the seam where it broke from the letters. And there you go. So I've used a matte vinyl here, but the glossy vinyl, you can do exactly the same thing. Just be careful with the glossy vinyl, because it is a thicker vinyl, so it doesn't adhere to the roundness of the balloon as nicely as the matte vinyl. But I like the glossy vinyl, especially for helium. It lasts a lot longer, especially if you're using a tea balloon, or if you're using a globe. The glossy vinyl is the metallic vinyl. It's a lot better, long lasting, as opposed to the matte vinyl. I hope you liked my tutorial about how to add vinyl to a glass balloon. If you'd like to see some more tutorials, you can subscribe and like to Sempertex Europe YouTube channel.